Hey friends, welcome back to Creators of the Lost Art. Welcome back to my shop. My name is Ron, and if you take a peek outside my door here, you see green leaves, you see nice sunshiny day, but it is late September, and to quote someone from Game of Thrones, winter is coming. And if you followed any of my earlier videos, you know that it gets extremely cold out here in the shop. So I've got to come up with a way so that I don't freeze out here in the wintertime, Unwreck-It Ron style. Okay, so I have a few options. This is a natural gas wall hung heater that my buddy Nathan gave me a year or so ago, and I never installed it. And I thought, well, let me just run some gas from my house out to the shop and tie it in, and I'll have heat in here. But then I saw on the news today that natural gas is predicted to be up 35% this winter due to inflation and all these other supply chain issues. I'm like, well, maybe not. Let's think about something else. So I have this propane heater that I used a lot last year. You can see it on some of my videos, and it works great. Doesn't really warm the place up real good unless I'm right in front of it, which I have a tendency to do. But propane is going to be up, I think, somewhere close to 20%. So where this bottle used to cost me $14 to refill it, now it's $22, I think. The other one is this electric heater, and this thing works pretty well. It's just not enough BTUs for the size of the shop, especially with no insulation in here. And I could go with some electric heat, but electricity is going to be up 7 to 8% this winter as well. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm a cheap guy, and I have a shop here that's primarily what? Primarily a wood shop. And wood is probably the most utilized source of heat in the world. I don't have any proof to back that up, but I would say that it's probably pretty close. So I said, well, what about wood heat in the shop? And then I have a source of firewood, and then I have all this excess lumber that I'm just hauling to the backyard and burning anyway. So I'm going to be building and installing a wood burning heater for the shop out here. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Here's our wood burning stove components. I ordered this camp stove kit off Amazon. I think it was $65. Comes with everything that you need other than the barrel itself and the chimney pipe and stovepipe to get to vent it to outside. But it does say right here, do not use as a residential heater. This is a shop. I don't sleep out here unless I'm in trouble with Mandy. Just kidding. I don't sleep out here. I just, when I'm out here, I'm watching it, and it'll be fine. But the kit comes with 2 legs that'll mount on the bottom of the barrel. A 6-inch damper and flange to start the chimney pipe. This little springy thing, I think this is to keep you from burning yourself when you open the handle on the door. Various screws or various nuts and bolts. And then the door itself with the vent on the bottom and a free cricket. And then this opens up. So all of this has to be mounted to the barrel. I'm going to be using a cutoff wheel and a grinder. I don't recommend that. The instructions say actually to use a hacksaw. I don't know how you would cut a hole in the barrel with a hacksaw. But unless you know what was in your barrel, I would caution you about using something that produces sparks like a grinder. But I know that this had, basically it's antifreeze in it, so it's not flammable. And it's been cleaned out and drying for a long time. I'm gonna get my holes cut, and then I'm gonna take a propane blowtorch and burn all the paint off of it so that stuff doesn't burn off inside here. I'm gonna do it outside. So the fumes and all that can be outside. And then I'll repaint it with some high temperature paint. Get some stovepipe, run it up through the roof right here. Have it sitting right here where I've get easy access with wood. And this is the only place in my shop that I didn't have electrical already ran to. I didn't want to risk melting any of the wires. So this is where I'm going to put it. I think it's going to be great, and I'm excited. So stay tuned.
I start by tracing out the door with a yellow paint marker. I found that a paint marker works a little better than a Sharpie when it's on metal. And then I let all the sparks out of this barrel. Clamps kept the door from moving around while I drilled the bolt holes, and a little cutting fluid made that drilling a lot easier. The square and a level helped me find the center of the barrel. Then I could use that mark to measure for the feet so that they would be in the correct spot. I needed help bolting the feet on, so Pops and Franklin came out to assist. And while Pops and I teamed up to bolt the feet in, Franklin thought a little housekeeping was in order. Then I moved on to measuring and marking for the chimney pipe, and my paint marker fell apart. Pops wanted to show off his legendary tooth strength by chewing this hole, but the 6-inch hole saw was a lot cleaner. Now this was a fun and easy way to remove the factory paint from the barrel so that I could add a coat of high temperature paint to it later. How many monkeys does it take? Adding the damper to be able to control the flame. A string and a plumb bob found the center of the chimney pipe, which I marked in the ceiling. It's important that you center your collar over one of the ribs in the tin, otherwise you run the risk of having a leak, but more on that in a minute. cut my stovepipe to the appropriate length and then drilled a hole in the ceiling where I'd marked it earlier. Then I used that hole I drilled as a center to lay out where I needed to cut the hole for the chimney pipe. Then I added a liberal amount of sealant to this flexible collar and screwed it down. As you can see, if my hand wasn't in the way, that it forms over one of the ribs and not between them. This allows the water to run off each side of it instead of building up in front of it. I was thankful for Pop's incredible strength in pushing this through that collar, and then we locked it onto the chimney pipe. The manufacturer recommends adding 2 inches of sand to the bottom of the barrel. And I added a piece of scrap steel on top of the sand just to make it easier to clean the ashes out. After we put all the bolts back in it, I gave Pops the honor of closing the door on this project. All right, the wood burner for the stove is complete and it works great. Did want to point out that I added a 2-inch steel plug right here in this bung. The damper and the intake and the damper work great for controlling the airflow. You can see, however, that it got really hot. So it baked on that enamel high temperature paint that I put on here. Not a big deal. The stovepipe goes up. It's 2 sections of stovepipe into a chimney pipe. This is a stovepipe to chimney adapter focus. Yeah, that you have to thread this piece onto to lock it in. And once it's locked in, it'll stay there. It looks great. I think it's gonna work great, at least for keeping my little shop here warm during the wintertime. So if you wanna build this, buy this kit. It's a pretty simple build. And any questions, just send me a message. Thanks for watching.